Public opinion will not long endure a theory which does not work in practice. Today, probably more than ever before, man demands proof of the truth of even his highest ideal. For ultimate satisfaction, man must find a principle which is for him a way of life, a principle which he can experience as true. I believe I have discovered just such a principle in the greatest of all sacred writings, the Bible. Drawn from my own mystical illumination, this book reveals the truth buried within the stories of the Old and New Testaments alike. Briefly, the book states that consciousness is the one and only reality, that consciousness is the cause and manifestation is the effect. It draws the reader's attention to this fact constantly, that the reader may always keep first things first. Having laid the foundation that a change of consciousness is essential to bring about any change of expression, this book explains to the reader a dozen different ways to bring about such a change of consciousness. This is a realistic and constructive principle that works. The revelation it contains, if applied, will set you free. The oneness of God. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Hear, O Israel, hear, O man, made of the very substance of God. You and God are one and undivided. Man, the world, and all within it are conditioned states of the unconditioned one, God. You are this one. You are God conditioned as man. And all that you believe God to be, you are. But you will never know this to be true until you stop claiming it for another and recognize this seeming other to be yourself. God and man, spirit and matter, the formless and the formed, the creator and the creation, the cause and the effect, your Father and you are one. This one in whom all conditioned states live and move and have their being is your I am, your unconditioned consciousness. Unconditioned consciousness is God, the one and only reality. By unconditioned consciousness is meant a sense of awareness, a sense of knowing that I am, apart from knowing who I am. The consciousness of being, divorced from that which I am conscious of being. I am aware of being man, but I need not be man to be aware of being. Before I became aware of being someone, I, unconditioned awareness, was aware of being. And this awareness does not depend upon being someone. I am self-existent, unconditioned consciousness. I became aware of being someone, and I shall become aware of being someone other than this that I am now aware of being. But I am eternally aware of being, whether I am unconditioned formlessness or I am conditioned form. As the conditioned state, I, man, might forget who I am or where I am, but I cannot forget that I am. This knowing that I am, this awareness of being, is the only reality. This unconditioned consciousness, the I am, is that knowing reality in whom all conditioned states, conceptions of myself, begin and end. But whichever remains the unknown, knowing being, when all the known ceases to be. All that I have ever believed myself to be, all that I now believe myself to be, and all that I shall ever believe myself to be, are but attempts to know myself, the unknown, undefined reality. This unknown knowing one, or conditioned consciousness, is my true being, the one and only reality. I am the unconditioned reality, conditioned as that which I believe myself to be. I am the believer limited by my beliefs, the knower defined by the known. The world is my conditioned consciousness objectified. That which I feel and believe to be true of myself is now projected in space as my world. The world, my mirrored self, ever bears witness to the state of consciousness in which I live. There is no chance or accident responsible for the things that happen to me or the environment in which I find myself, nor is predestined fate the author of my fortunes or misfortunes. Innocence and guilt are mere words with no meaning to the law of consciousness, except as they reflect the state of consciousness itself. The consciousness of guilt calls forth condemnation. The consciousness of lack produces poverty. Man everlastingly objectifies the state of consciousness in which he abides, but he has somehow or other become confused in the interpretation of the law of cause and effect. He has forgotten that it is the inner state which is the cause of the outer manifestation. As within, so without. And in his forgetfulness, he believes that an outside God has his own peculiar reason for doing things, such reasons being beyond the comprehension of mere man. Or he believes that people are suffering because of past mistakes which have been forgotten by the conscious mind, or again, that blind chance alone plays the part of God. One day man will realize that his own I amness is the God he has been seeking throughout the ages, and that his own sense of awareness, his consciousness of being, is the one and only reality. The most difficult thing for man to really grasp is this, that the I amness in himself is God. It is his true being or father state, the only state he can be sure of. The Son, his conception of himself, is an illusion. He always knows that he is, but that which he is an illusion, created by himself, the Father, in an attempt at self-definition. This discovery reveals that all I have believed God to be, I am. I am the resurrection and the life is a statement of fact concerning my consciousness. For my consciousness resurrects or makes visibly alive that which I am conscious of being. I am the door. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers. Shows me that my consciousness is the one and only entrance into the world of expression. That by assuming the consciousness of being or possessing the thing which I desire to be or possess is the only way by which I can become it or possess it. That any attempt to express this desirable state in ways other than by assuming the consciousness of being or possessing it is to be robbed of the joy of expression and possession. I am the beginning and the end, reveals my consciousness as the cause of the birth and death of all expression. I am hath sent me, reveals my consciousness to be the Lord, which sends me into the world in the image and likeness of that which I am conscious of being, to live in a world composed of all that I am conscious of. I am the Lord, and there is no God beside me, declares my consciousness to be the one and only Lord, and beside my consciousness there is no God. Be still and know that I am God means that I should still the mind and know that consciousness is God. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. I am the Lord, that is my name. Now that you have discovered your I am, your consciousness to be God, do not claim anything to be true of yourself that you would not claim to be true of God. For in defining yourself, you are defining God. That which you are conscious of being is that which you have named God. God and man are one. You and your Father are one. Your unconditioned consciousness, or I am, and that which you are conscious of being are one. The conceiver and the conception are one. If your conception of yourself is less than that which you claim as true of God, you have robbed God, the Father, because you, the Son or conception, bear witness of the Father or conceiver. Do not take the magical name of God, I am, in vain, for you will not be held guiltless. You must express all that you claim yourself to be. Name God by consciously defining yourself as your highest ideal. The name of God. It cannot be stated too often that consciousness is the one and only reality, for this is the truth that sets man free. This is the foundation upon which the whole structure of biblical literature rests. The stories of the Bible are all mystical revelations, written in an Eastern symbolism which reveals to the intuitive the secret of creation and the formula of escape. The Bible is man's attempt to express in words the cause and manner of creation. Man discovered that his consciousness was the cause or creator of his world, so he proceeded to tell the story of creation in a series of symbolical stories known to us today as the Bible. To understand this greatest of books, you need a little intelligence and much intuition. Intelligence enough to enable you to read the book, and intuition enough to interpret and understand what you read. You may ask why the Bible was written symbolically. Why was it not written in a clear, simple style so that all who read it might understand it? To these questions I reply that all men speak symbolically to that part of the world which differs from their own. The language of the West is clear to us of the West, but it is symbolic to the East, and vice versa. An example of this can be found in the Easterner's instruction, "If thy hand offend thee, cut it off." He speaks of the hand not as the hand of the body, but as any form of expression, and thereby he warns you to turn from that expression in your world which is offensive to you. At the same time, the man of the West would unintentionally mislead the man of the East by saying, "This bank is on the rocks." For the expression "on the rocks" to the Westerner is equivalent to bankruptcy, while a rock to the Easterner is a symbol of faith and security. "I will like him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock." To really understand the message of the Bible, you must bear in mind that it was written by the Eastern mind, and therefore cannot be taken literally by those of the West. Biologically, there is no difference between the East and the West. Love and hate are the same. Hunger and thirst are the same. Ambition and desire are the same. But the technique of expression is vastly different. The first thing you must discover if you would unlock the secret of the Bible is the meaning of the symbolic name of the Creator, which is known to all as Jehovah. This word, Jehovah, is composed of the 4 Hebrew letters Jod, He, Vav, He. The whole secret of creation is concealed within this name. The first letter, Jod, represents the absolute state or consciousness unconditioned, the sense of undefined awareness, that all-inclusiveness out of which all creation or conditioned states of consciousness come. In the terminology of today, Jod is I am, or unconditioned consciousness. The second letter, He, represents the only begotten Son, a desire, an imaginary state. It symbolizes an ideal, a defined subjective state or clarified mental picture. The third letter, Va, symbolizes the act of unifying or joining the conceiver, Jod, the consciousness desiring, to the conception, He, the state desired, so that the conceiver and the conception become one. Fixing a mental state, consciously defining yourself as the state desired, impressing upon yourself the fact that you are now that which you imagined or conceived as your objective, is the function of the Va. It nails or joins the consciousness desiring to the thing desired. The cementing or joining process is accomplished subjectively by feeling the reality of that which is not yet objectified. The fourth letter, He, represents the objectifying of this subjective agreement. The Jod He Va makes man, or the manifested world, He, in the image and likeness of itself, the subjective conscious state. So the function of the final He is to objectively bear witness to the subjective state Jehovah. Conditioned consciousness continually objectifies itself on the screen of space. The world is the image and likeness of the subjective conscious state which created it. The visible world of itself can do nothing. It only bears record of its creator, the subjective state. It is the visible Son, He, bearing witness of the invisible Father. Son and Mother, Jehovah, a holy trinity, which can only be seen when made visible as man or manifestation. Your unconditioned consciousness, Jod, is your I am, which visualizes or images a desired state, a desirable state, He, and then becomes conscious of being that state imagined by feeling and believing itself to be the imagined state. The conscious union between you who desire and that which you desire to be is made possible through the Va, or your capacity to feel and believe. Believing is simply living in the feeling of actually being the state imagined, by assuming the consciousness of being the state desired. The subjective state symbolized as Jehovah then objectifies itself as He, thereby completing the mystery of the Creator's name and nature. Jehovah, Jehovah. Jod is to be aware. He is to be aware of something. Va is to be aware as, or to be aware of being that which you are only aware of. The second He is your visible, objectified world, which is made in the image and likeness of the Jehovah, or that which you are aware of being. And God said, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." Let us, Jehovah, make the objective manifestation, He, in our image, the image of the subjective state. The world is the objectified likeness of the subjective conscious state in which consciousness abides. This understanding that consciousness is the one and only reality is the foundation of the Bible. The stories of the Bible are attempts to reveal in symbolic language the secret of creation, as well as to show man the one formula to escape from all of his own creations. This is the true meaning of the name of Jehovah, the name by which all things are made, and without which there is nothing made that is made. First you are aware, then you become aware of something, then you become aware as that which you were aware of, then you behold objectively that which you are aware of being. Let us take the law of creation. Let us take one of the stories of the Bible and see how the prophets and the writers of old revealed the story of creation by this strange Eastern symbolism. We all know the story of Noah and the ark, that Noah was chosen to create a new world after the world was destroyed by the flood. The Bible tells us that Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The first son is called Shem, which means name. Ham, the second son, means warm, alive. The third son is called Japheth, which means extension. You will observe that Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, contain the same formula of creation as does the divine name of Jehovah. Noah, the father, the conceiver, the builder of a new world, is equivalent to the Jod, or unconditioned consciousness. I am, Shem, or unconditioned consciousness, I am. Shem is your desire, that which you are conscious of, that which you name and define as your objective, and is equivalent to the second letter in the divine name, He. Ham is the warm, live state of feeling which joins or binds together consciousness desiring and the thing desired, and is therefore equivalent to the third letter in the divine name, the Va. The last son, Japheth, means extension, and is the extended or objectified state bearing witness of the subjective state, and is equivalent to the last letter in the divine name, He. You are Noah, the knower, the creator. The first thing you beget is an ideal, an urge, a desire, the word, or your first son, Shem, name. Your second son, Ham, warm alive, is the secret of feeling by which you are joined to your desire subjectively, so that you, the consciousness desiring, become conscious of being or possessing the thing desired. Your third son, Japhet, is the confirmation, the visible proof that you know the secret of creation. He is the extended or objectified state bearing witness of the invisible or subjective state in which you abide. In the story of Noah, it is recorded that Ham saw the secrets of his father, and because of his discovery, he was made to serve his brothers, Shem and Japhet. Ham, or feeling, is the secret of the Father, your I am, for it is through feeling that the consciousness desiring is joined to the thing desired. The conscious union or mystical marriage is made possible only through feeling. It is feeling which performs this heavenly union of Father and Son, Noah and Shem, unconditioned consciousness and conditioned consciousness. By performing this service, feeling automatically serves Japhet, the extended or expressed state, for there can be no objectified expression unless there is first a subjective impression. To feel the presence of the thing desired, to subjectively actualize a state by impressing upon yourself, through feeling, a definite conscious state, is the secret of creation. Your present objectified world is Japhet, which was made visible by Ham. Therefore Ham serves his brothers, Shem and Japhet. For without feeling, which is symbolized as Ham, the ideal or thing desired, Shem, could not be made visible as Japhet. The ability to feel the unseen, the ability to actualize and make real a definite subjective state through the sense of feeling, is the secret of creation, the secret by which the word or unseen desire is made visible, is made flesh. And God calleth things that are not, and God calleth things that be not as though they were. Consciousness calls things that are not seen as though they were, and it does this by first defining itself as that which it desires to express, and second, by remaining within the defined state until the invisible becomes visible. Here is the perfect working of the law according to the story of Noah. This very moment you are aware of being. This awareness of being, this knowing that you are, is Noah, the Creator. Now, with Noah's identity established as your own consciousness of being, name something that you would like to possess or express. Define some objective, Shem. And with your desire clearly defined, close your eyes and feel that you have it or are expressing it. Don't question how it can be done. Simply feel that you have it. Assume the attitude of mind that would be yours if you were already in possession of it, so that you feel that it is done. Feeling is the secret of creation. Be as wise as Ham and make this discovery, that you too may have the joy of serving your brothers, Shem and Japhet, the joy of making the word, our name, flesh. The secret of feeling. The secret of feeling, or the calling of the invisible into visible states, is beautifully told in the story of Isaac blessing his second son, Jacob, by the belief based solely upon feeling that he was blessing his first son, Esau. It is recorded that Isaac, who was old and blind, felt that he was about to leave this world, and wishing to bless his first son, Esau, before he died, sent Esau hunting for savory venison, with the promise that upon his return from the hunt he would receive his father's blessing. Now Jacob, who desired the birthright, or right to be born, through the blessing of the father, overheard his blind father's request for venison, and his promise to Esau. So, as Esau went hunting for the venison, Jacob killed and dressed a kid of his father's flock. Placing the skins upon his smooth body to give him the feel of his hairy and rough brother Esau, he brought the tastily prepared kid to his blind father Isaac. And Isaac, who depended solely upon his sense of feel, mistook his second son, Jacob, for his first son, Esau, and pronounced his blessing on Jacob. Esau, on his return from the hunt, learned that his smooth-skinned brother Jacob had supplanted him, so he appealed to his father for justice. But Isaac answered and said, "Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants." Simple human decency should tell man that this very story cannot be taken literally. There must be a message for man hidden somewhere in this treacherous and despicable act of Jacob. The hidden message, the formula of success buried in this story, was intuitively revealed to the writer in this manner. Isaac, the blind father, is your consciousness, your awareness of being. Esau, the hairy son, is your present objectified world. The rough are sensibly felt, the present moment, the present environment, your present conception of yourself. In short, the world you know by reason of your objective senses. Jacob, the smooth-skinned lad, the second son, is your desire, our subjective state, an ideal not yet embodied, a subjective state which is perceived and sensed, but not objectively known or seen, a point in time and space removed from the present. In short, Jacob is your defined objective. The smooth-skinned Jacob, our subjective state, seeking embodiment or the right of birth, when properly felt or blessed by his father, when consciously felt and fixed as real, becomes objectified, and in so doing he supplants the rough, hairy Esau, or the former objectified state. Two things cannot occupy a given place at one and the same time, and so as the invisible is made visible, the former visible state vanishes. Your conception is the cause of your world. The conscious state in which you abide determines the kind of world in which you live. Your present concept of yourself is now objectified as your environment, and this state is symbolized as Esau, the hairy or sensibly felt, the first son, and that which you would like to be or possess is symbolized as your second son, Jacob, the smooth-skinned lad who is not yet seen, but is subjectively sensed and felt, and will, if properly touched, supplant his brother Esau, or your present world. Always bear in mind the fact that Isaac, the father of these two sons, or states, is blind. He does not see his smooth-skinned son, Jacob. He only feels him. And through the sense of feeling, he actually believes Jacob, the subjective, to be Esau, the real, the objectified. You do not see your desire objectively. You simply sense it, feel it subjectively. You do not grope in space after a desirable state. Like Isaac, you sit still and send your first son hunting by removing your attention from your objective world. Then, in the absence of your first son, Esau, you invite the desirable state, your second son, Jacob, to come close so that you may feel it. Come close, my son, that I may feel you. First, you are aware of it in your immediate environment. Then you draw it closer and closer and closer until you sense it and feel it in your immediate presence so that it is real and natural to you. If two of you shall agree on earth as touching on any point that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. The two agree through the sense of feel, and the agreement is established on earth, is objectified, is made real. The two agreeing are Isaac and Jacob, you and that which you desire, and the agreement is made solely on the sense of feeling. Esau symbolizes your present objectified world, whether it be pleasant or otherwise. Jacob symbolizes any and every desire of your heart. Isaac symbolizes your true self, with your eyes closed to the present world, in the act of sensing and feeling yourself to be or to possess that which you desire to be or to possess. The secret of Isaac, the sensing, feeling state, is simply the act of mentally separating the sensibly felt, your present physical state, from the insensibly felt, that which you would like to be. With the objective senses tightly shut, Isaac made, and you can make the invisible. No, let me read it again. With the objective senses tightly shut, Isaac made, and you can make, the insensibly felt, the subjective state, seem real or sensibly known. For faith is knowledge. Knowing the law of self-expression, the law by which the invisible is made visible, is not enough. It must be applied, and this is the method of application. First, send your first son Esau, your present objectified world or problem, hunting. This is accomplished simply by closing your eyes and taking your attention away from the objectified limitations. As your senses are removed from your objective world, it vanishes from your consciousness or goes hunting. Second, with your eyes still closed and your attention removed from the world around about you, consciously fix the natural time and place for the realization of your desire. With your objective senses closed to your present environment, you can sense and feel the reality of any point in time or space, for both are psychological and can be created at will. It is vitally important that the natural time-space condition of Jacob. Oh, there goes my phone. I will start again in the next video.